Hello, this is attorney Brian Mayer. I'm a family law attorney practicing throughout Southern California. And the question that I'm answering today is how do I prove something in court? Now, this question comes up a lot. People will say, well, how do I prove this or that? And oftentimes it's how do I prove that our child is not being taken care of in the other parent's custody? Or how do I prove that this order is being violated? And the answer is first, sometimes it can't be proven. That's why crimes sometimes go unsolved. It's why we see different outcomes in court because sometimes you just can't prove it. The evidence just isn't there. And when those situations arise, you kind of just have to accept it for the time being and then look ahead to the future and see what can be proven later on. But sometimes it can be proven. And for those situations, you generally prove things in court like you prove anything else in life. Now, I'm going to say right now that uh, when attorneys go through law school, a mandatory course is evidence, and it's its own entire graduate level law school class, and you learn the rules of evidence and how to introduce evidence and how to prove it. So it's not something that can really be summarized in just a few minutes. But people are intimidated by this, and what they have to understand is that you prove things in court generally just like you prove things in life. How would you prove, for example, that you went to the grocery store today? Well, you might have a receipt from purchases you made at the grocery store. You might have run into someone that you know at the grocery store who can attest to your having been at the grocery store. You might be able to personally attest to sales that were going on at the grocery store, and those sales can be verified by someone else who knew what was going on in the store that day. Someone might have run into outside the grocery store. You might have been stopped by a law enforcement officer for speeding or running a red light outside the grocery store. You may have credit card receipts. And of course, you probably have the groceries themselves that were purchased that day. If you have um, fresh bananas in your home, they had to have come from somewhere. And so when you put it all together, you can use these things to prove that you were at the grocery store. And just like that, when you run into things that you need to prove in court, there is oftentimes evidence that you can find to prove that these things actually happened. And sometimes it's just pieces and you can put it together to show the whole picture. Sometimes you have the proverbial smoking gun, but you kind of have to look at every case individually and consider what is and isn't available. And sometimes you have to create uh, your own avenue to having the evidence that you need that you can just show to someone else. Because the fact is, when you go into court, the least credible people in that courtroom are you and any other party because you each have something to lose. You have a dog in the fight, is the analogy. You have a reason and motive to taint the truth or leave something out. So you really have to be able to look elsewhere, something more objective to demonstrate. And that's how you prove something in court. So don't be intimidated by the fact that it's in a courtroom. There's a common sense element to it. And if you can show that objective evidence of what went on, other people, documents, photos, videos, emails, if you can show uh, using those things what happened, then that can help get the result that you need. And so, again, my name is Brian Mayer. I'm a family law attorney. I practice throughout Southern California. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this was helpful.